Hello, and welcome to a late Sunday evening episode of Dylan Knows, which is unusual. I don't know if I've ever done one this late before. I might have, like when we had like Monday off, like a Memorial Day or Labor Day or something like that. But a lot of going on stuff this weekend, so that's why it took me a while to get here. I do it yesterday because we went to my in-laws' house because my wife's Aunt Jean was in town from Colorado, and we had dinner there, and we stayed till about 9:30ish, and didn't get home till 10:30, and I didn't have time during the day to work on my research for the day, so I had to put it off to this morning. This morning I had a Ravens game I wanted to watch, and then about halfway through the Ravens game, I was going to go with the family to go have dinner with my dad and stepmother at a sports bar type of place. So we got to watch the end of the game. It was a done deal pretty much by the time we left that the Ravens were going to win today, but we'll talk about that a little later right now because we do have some sports ball talk to talk about. I am also continuing my standing of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelcie. I absolutely adore them, and I got some new buzz about them. Was watching a little bit of the KC Chargers game, which is going on right now presently, and she's at that game as well. So that's good about that. We've had some crazy deaths. We have anthology books. We've got Chuck Norris. We've got horror stuff. We've got cryptids, which a lot of cryptid news this week, which is really interesting. It's not that far away from Halloween. I mean, it is what, the 21st, right? So it's 10 days, right? It is the 22nd, actually. So it's 9 days. So 9 days to Halloween. It is Sunday, October 22nd. Also, I will be revealing my Halloween costume, which a lot of people will be willing to pay big money for because we have a costume contest at work and everybody wants to know what I'm going to do. And after my disappointing costume not winning last year, my costume was perfect, but I should have won, but that's besides the point. We'll talk about that a little later as well. I will reveal what my costume is. So for those who keep asking at work what your costume is, you got to watch my show to find out or wait until Halloween to find out. We also got some trailers. We've got some Thanksgiving stuff. We got Christmas stuff. We have another power couple in the NFL we'll talk about as well. We have DeLoreans, Monster NATO, Don't Ask, Anniversaries, Steven Seagal, Snow White, Emily Blunt, Apple TV Plus, Yankee Candle, lot number 249, voice casts, Dolly Parton, Hallmark, right? Yeah. Oh, Dreamcast. That's right. Okay, Dreamcast. Let me write that down. I'll know what that is once I do that. In the Hand of Dale. No, Dante. Excuse me. In the Hand of Dante. I'll talk about that as well. Hot Cocoa stuff. Jason Isaacs. Whooper. This could be a tough one to look at because I did the stuff this morning. Some last minute NYCC stuff. And away we go here. It is today, do some sports ball early on. It is officially National Tight Ends Day. Tight ends is an important role on the NFL team. I am wearing the Ravens tight ends 89 Mark Andrews uniform, which was very lucky today. Travis Kelcie, who is Taylor Swift's boyfriend, is also a tight end as well. Everybody knows them. Gronkowski was also he's a retired tight end now, but he's a tight end also. And yeah, so we've got a lot of news about that. So real quick, sports ball. The Ravens today, they were back home from their trip to England. Remember last week I did my show Saturday night, so I was telling people, okay, they're going to be playing England, so I got to watch the game at 9:30. So last Sunday I had to get up early, get myself ready, and turn on the football game at 9:30. The Ravens end up winning in England against the Titans, pretty dominant fashion. They looked really, really good. Gave up a couple of second half points, which they probably shouldn't have. But what are you going to do here, right? And then this week, they were back home in Baltimore, and everybody was wondering how were they going to react to going from the England time change to the Maryland time change because they were at home for the first time in almost 3 weeks. And playing a Detroit Lions team who was 5-1, who is really, really good. Wasn't an issue because the Baltimore Ravens ended up winning 38-6. They dominated the game in its entirety. They were going into the fourth quarter 35-0. Good defensive stops. This is probably the best game the Ravens have played in a really long time, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come. They are 5-2, still on top of the AFC North. Mark Andrews on tight end day scored 2 touchdowns. So you got to love that. So we'll segue into Travis Kelcie, who I know most of you probably sick of this, but I'm a Travis Kelcie Taylor Swift stan. If you've been watching the show the last 3 weeks, you know why. But this week, some news with them is Kansas City had a Thursday night game last week, so they had off last weekend. So Travis and his brother Jason and Taylor all dropped in on Saturday Night Live last Saturday and did some funny stuff there when Saturday Night Live came back from the writer's strike. So they did some fun stuff for that. And also during that time, Taylor was at the game on Thursday, and she was spotted leaving Travis's house on Friday morning. And then over the weekend, they went to New York, and Travis photographed leaving Taylor's house over the weekend as well. So things seem to be progressing for them. It makes sense to be moving along a little bit because they are the same age. Travis's birthday was just last couple weeks ago. He turned 34. Taylor's born the same year as him, but in December. So he's about 2 months older than her, but only by 2 months. That's not a lot. So she's going to be 34 here in December. So you only have a limited amount of time really left if you want to have kids to have kids. But Taylor's still pretty big with her stuff. I got some other Taylor Swift news later on. No, actually, it's all part of this. So they were seen leaving the houses. I wrote that. Travis just bought a $6 million super mansion, and people are believing that it's for both him and Taylor to hang out in, so that's pretty good. Travis will be joining Taylor on her international leg of the Eras Tours, which kicks off in November. I don't know. I guess he'll do it for a bye week, and then he might pop up for some other times, maybe just to be there in between games that they have or whatever. But he will be showing up at her concerts. She hasn't been working that much, or she's been taking a little breather from the American leg of her trip before the international leg of her trip. So she's been working. So it's only fair that's why she's been at all of his football games. So now it's only fair that he shows up and supports her in her concerts. And this week was the second week of Taylor's concert movie, and it buried Martin Scorsese's new movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, which is a wonderful book, by the way. And I was interested in seeing the movie, but when Scorsese started opening his mouth about, how bad comic book movies are and that they're not cinema and so on and so forth, it really kind of irked me because, he's saying so like it's the same old stuff. It's not real cinema. You do the same old stuff. All your movies glorify violence. They might be based on real stories, but every one of your movies, with the exception of a few ones where you've gone off the beaten track, like Kundun and Hugo and stuff like that, is ultra violence in it. And you really can't say about it's how every Marvel movie or comic movie is the same when your movies are all hugely violent. And same with this one, Killers of the Flower Moon, you could focus more on the terror that is enveloping the Indians. You don't have to show the murders and the violence. You might want to show it to show how bad it is, but you're glorifying that and you're focusing more on the killers instead of the actual Indian tribe. So you're continuing your, making the same goddamn movie you always make. So you're really kind of a hypocrite talking about how bad comic movies are. I love you, Marty, but you're kind of an asshole. And Taylor's concert movie destroyed your movie this week at the box office. So are you going to start saying now that concert movies aren't real theater either because people want to see 3-hour plus epics, historical epics that are filled with violence, that's cinema, and that a concert movie or a comic book movie is not cinema? You don't know what the definition of cinema is. Cinema is an art form. It is you cannot quantify what should be considered cinema and what isn't, though the cinema snobs are the first people to do that, and that's why they piss me off also. So I'm kind of glad that, she kicked his ass at the box office as well. Maybe he'll start, calming down a little bit. But that's it for my Taylor Swifting on this one. I had someone listening to it, but then they're like, I don't want him to talk about Taylor Swift. Or I'm going to talk about Taylor Swift as often as I want to, because I think she's doing good work. I think she deserves to be happy, and I think she helps out with signing Democrats to defeat the fascists that are slowly taking over the U.S. government this upcoming election. So we'll keep that in mind. So, other big news this week. Stephen King has given his blessing for an anthology series based on his book, The Stand. Basically, they're going to get a bunch of writers to come in and write short stories set in the Stand universe. I don't know if they'll be using the same characters or if they'll be creating other characters to use in this, but he has signed off on it. He says, go for it. Let's see what you got. And so this will probably come out, I think, sometime next year, which is a really cool idea. A fourth grade teacher accidentally showed her fourth graders the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey horror movie instead of a regular Winnie the Pooh movie. It sounds almost like a fake story, because how could a fourth grade teacher be so stupid and wanting to show the kids a Winnie the Pooh movie that's called Blood or Money or Honey, Blood and Honey, and not just like a Winnie the Pooh. So the teacher scarred her teachers, students for life. So pretty funny. Vampire nails are back for the season. They are extraordinarily sharp nails with a very good blood red color to it, starting with the darker crimson down here and then the lighter red up here. It looks actually kind of cool. If you have the patience and time to do it, it looks really, really nice. Chuck Norris and Vanilla Ice will be playing themselves on a movie called Zombie Plane. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. So, yeah, that's pretty wild. An anniversary this week, Evil Dead, the original Cabin in the Woods movie from 1981, debuted this week from Sam Raimi and Bruce, what's his last name? Campbell. Thank you. So 1981. So let's see, 81, 91, 2001, 2011, 2021. It's 42 years old this week. Wow. 42 years ago. A big death hit literally the next day after I did my show last weekend. Suzanne Summers, one of the leads in the original Three's Company, passed away actually at the age of 48, not 48, 78. No, 76, 77. She was older than my dad and father-in-law and my mom and mother-in-law. She was born in 1946. It was actually one day before her birthday she passed away. She's known mostly for Three's Company, was a sex symbol in the early 80s, and then she got a little angry about the way she was being paid. She thought she needed to get paid more money at Three's Company, and I don't know if her and John Ritter had a tiff. I don't know if they enjoyed working together. I'm not sure, or maybe he did. I don't remember the actual stories. There was some behind the scenes stuff going on in Three's Company, and I know John Ritter was involved in something. I know he didn't like the woman who came in at the end, who was on for a couple of seasons. And then there was a woman who was in between Suzanne Summers and this other woman who I guess didn't really make a difference or anything like that in the show. But I know John Ritter was, and I think he was angry at her as well as the other woman who was in the cast. Not Ellen DeWitt. He was fine with her because they stayed together for the whole entirety of the show. But Suzanne Summers went on to also star in another popular film with TV show with Patrick Duffy called Step by Step. So Suzanne Summers passed away late last week, about a week or so ago, right after I did this show. Jack Skellington, Michael Myers skins in Fortnite will be popping up this week on Fortnite, I believe. Tomorrow, Jack Skellington shows up in the Fortnite's what do you call it? Their shop, whatever their shop is called. And then Tuesday, Michael Myers will show up because that'll be about a week before Halloween. He'll show up in the shop there. And also, rumor has it that the week before Halloween also, or no, or maybe not, maybe it's tomorrow. Actually, it's tomorrow, I think. The first teaser trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, Ghostbusters Firehouse, that's what I believe it will also be debuting on tomorrow as well. So we'll find out more about that. You'll hear about that next week on next week's show, Dylan knows. Now, next week's show is going to be interesting because my family's going to be gone over the weekend, so I'll be doing it probably on Saturday night. Again, I'll be probably watching a bunch of Halloween-esque sort of stuff, but I got to get off my ass. I got to get my Halloween decorations out. I haven't even got them out yet. So we're getting close to the end here, so we'll see what happens. Green Day is going to tour with Smashing Pumpkins in 2024. So that's pretty cool. William Friedkin, a director who just passed away not too long ago, earlier this year, made a movie called Cruising, which was based on a true story that happened when he was filming The Exorcist. And I didn't know this about The Exorcist. Apparently in The Exorcist, William Friedkin didn't know this at the time either, but he had cast a serial killer in the movie. I don't think it was a major role, but a serial killer was cast in the movie and appears in the movie. And once he was revealed to be a serial killer, William Friedkin ended up making this movie called Cruising, which was basically kind of the story about this guy. Some more sports ball talk. Western Kentucky football, a college team, is doing something unique. They have it's like a rooster or some sort of red bird is their mascot, and they're doing a first. In the NFL, there are definite skill jobs. There's a quarterback, tight end, running back, wide receiver, center, offensive line, and then the defense has guards and linebackers and stuff like that. Pass rushers. So what they're doing is Western Kentucky, I don't know if it's going to be permanent or if it's just for one game or whatever. They had their cartoonist who draws their mascot doing all those positions. So you have a shot of the mascot pretend to be a quarterback on a helmet. Then you have one pretend to be a wide receiver. You have one being a running back. You have one being a tight end, or so on and so forth like that. And the players on that team who fit that bill, the tight end will wear the tight end helmet. The quarterback would wear the quarterback helmet picture, stuff like that. So I think that's kind of a neat little sort of thing that's out there now. Don't ever doubt the power of metal detectors. Two men using metal detector found thousands of coins from ancient Rome in a area they were using the metal detector for. And a man in Switzerland searching a carrot field discovered ancient gold and bronze jewelry as well as human teeth. So that's wonderful as well. But that's kind of cool that sort of happens. James Wan confirms that there will be a live-action Gargoyles TV series on Disney+. So that's no longer a rumor. That is an official true story. The Orionid meteor shower, I think, peaked last night, but it still might see some residual stuff tonight as well. One of the best where is it? Oh, yeah. One of the best meteor showers of the year. There it is. Taylor and Travis are not the only power couple in the NFL. Josh Allen has been rumored to have been dating Haley Steinfeld, the actress. It was officially confirmed this week as well when they stepped out for some sort of event or whatever. The two of them have been a couple for a while now, so that's kind of cool. For the longest time, I thought Haley Steinfeld was with that disgusting Aaron Rodgers, but Josh Allen's okay. Josh Allen's my quarterback for my fantasy league. They lost against the awful Patriots, giving Bill Belichick his 300th win. But Josh Allen did okay for me. He gave me 43 points in my fantasy. So it is what it is. So that's interesting as well. All right, I got people come up. I had one person on. You were just ready to hear stuff. Here's the thing that a lot of people at my work have paid big money for. I'm going to announce my Halloween costume. First up, my daughter is going to be and then the other person just left. They don't want to hear my Halloween costume. My daughter will be Marty McFly, so that's pretty cool. So we're getting that together. My son wants to be Slender Man, so we'll have to get that costume together. I think that would be really cool as well. And my Halloween costume was, I had a whole bunch of ideas, but then Friday I just came up with this one. I went to Amazon. I bought all the accoutrements for it, and it is now officially here. I've gotten most everything. I'm getting one more piece tomorrow, one piece on Thursday, and I'll be done. I'm going to be doing the horror hybrid, or hybrid horror as I call it. It'll be the Michael Myers mask. It'll be the Freddy Krueger sweater. I also have Michael Myers in his coveralls, but I'll have it zipped down so you see Freddy Krueger's sweater. I have Freddy Krueger's claw, and I have Jason's machete. And I'm contemplating maybe getting Freddy Krueger's hat, but I'm not 100% certain about that. I might not, because I spent a lot of money on this costume. Now, my work last year, they always have a Halloween costume contest. 2 prizes at the time, 2 prizes for $50. The 16 years I've been there, I'd won 7 times. So, not too bad, not too shabby. $350 I've won during my time there. And then last year they decided they were going to up the ante to $200 because nobody was really participating in the costume contest. So they upped the ante for the costumes, the money for the costumes. So I decided to go all out, and I was Dr. Frankenfurter last year. I thought I was a shoo-in to win. I was wrong. I lost by about 2 or 3 votes. And I think it was that my conservative co-owners of the company, and at the time conservative manager, and also the other manager there. I think all the managers, because there's only 3. I was only off by 3, but those 3, I don't think they voted for me because they did not like my costume, because they thought it was a little too risque, as it were. And I even got a little needling from one of the co-owners of the company this week about my Halloween costume last year. So this year I decided to do what I just told you to do. So I didn't win the 200. I should have won 200. So I said, F it. If they're not going to give it from me when I'm being bold, I'm just going to go back to doing something regular. I was going to be like a steampunk sort of thing. Then I was going to be like steampunk Batman or steampunk Superman. And then another thing was going to be Ken from the Barbie movie. Instead, I decided I'm going to do this hybrid horror, and I'm very happy I decided on that. At this point, I really don't care if I win, but they have upped the ante again. It's now $250 prize, 2 of those. So hopefully maybe that'll be something that I could win. That would be really, really nice if I could win that one. So there we go. That's my Halloween costume. So all the people who are watching, you shut it off before. I told you, no one knows what's going to be, and no one's going to know until Halloween unless they watch the show. 22 minutes in, they'll find out for sure. The luscious Sydney Sweeney had her first trailer, Anyone But You, new romantic comedy coming out, I think later this year, with Glenn Powell. It's a rom-com, which is your typical rom-com. It's sexy, luscious, glorious Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell don't like each other, but they end up having to pretend that they are a couple for a wedding for whatever reason. Don't know the full gist of it. And they don't like each other that much, but obviously it's a romantic comedy, so they're going to start falling for each other as they are pretending to be in love with each other, and they're eventually going to fall in love with each other again. So it looks like a cute little rom-com, but it looks also very cliched and what you're supposed to expect as well. Speaking of that, also Sydney Sweeney's next film, the Marvel the Madam Web movie, is also supposed to have a teaser trailer come out this week as well, coming up along with Ghostbusters after Ghostbusters Firehouse. So that'll be interesting to see those. So next week I'll probably be talking about those, hopefully that they actually do happen. But take a gander at it. It's Anyone But You. And you get to see the luscious Sydney Sweeney in her bikini and in a tight dress, showing off the bazongas there. So, but again, it's a romantic comedy, PG-13 rated, so probably going to be just not very risque. Henry Selick believes that A Nightmare Before Christmas prequel would be better than a Nightmare Before Christmas sequel. And I kind of agree with him with that. An idea about how Jack became the king of Halloween. Be kind of interesting to see how that goes about, if it actually does happen. I don't think it's going to. But Nightmare Before Christmas, wasn't a big hit 30 years ago when the movie came out. And it took much time to get it built up to be the big hit that it is now. And to show you how big of a hit it has become in this week's movie box office, they re-released Nightmare Before Christmas for its 30th anniversary around Halloween, so on and so forth, and it gained $4.1 million for a release that's been out for 30 years, and everybody has a copy of it, but $4.1 million. It came in fourth, I believe, at the box office this week. Is pretty astounding, actually. So it goes to show you that the film is a serious contender there. A zoo in South Carolina just received 15 boxes of flamingos from a North Carolina zoo, and that's not a typo. The way that they transport them are because they're tall creatures. They transport them in tall boxes, and so there was an unboxing of them as they took the boxes off, and the flamingos ran out. There's holes and stuff in it, so they can breathe, obviously. But that's kind of neat that happened. Excuse me. Strange elements unknown to science may be hidden in asteroids. That's really not that unusual of a statement to say, but it's kind of cool about that. Meryl Streep has been separated from her husband for about 6 years, but they've never really discussed it too much, which is absolutely fine. It's not none of our business, really. A great white shark. Fishers discover the mutilated body of a great white shark that washed up on a shoreline that was killed by killer whales. So killer whales are not just bad guys towards humans; they are the assholes of the of the sea, and they are going absolutely crazy here. Britney Spears released a memoir. Actually, I want to get that on my Amazon list. My friend Kim from work, she doesn't really read a lot, but she bought that book and is reading it. So let me see. Britney Spears memoir. The Woman in Me. There it is. Yep. So I'm going to put that on my list. It's due out on the 24th. Okay. So the stuff we've been seeing has just been from reviews of it. Okay. Gotcha. I'll cancel that, and then I'll put it on my list here. Save for later, because there's a lot of good memoirs that came out. Patrick Stewart's came out earlier this year, so I think it's kind of cool. So there we go. Some of this was The Last Island. What is this? Discovery and Defiance and the Most Elusive Tribe. Oh, this could be a good one too. I'm gonna add that to my cart also. So I'm going to put that in there and add it to my cart and then save for later on that one as well. All right, so there we go. All right, so sorry about that. Some good stuff I wanted to take a look at. Oops, I got that. So my daughter just announced her eagle. Okay, there we go. So there we go. All righty. So I had to get that taken care of. All right. Ridley Scott had, I'm sorry, but let me go back. Britney Spears' memoir. In it, some of the juicy parts about it. She said that her and Colin Farrell, who was her rebound after Justin Timberlake, had a hot and heavy relationship that didn't last long. It was just feverish, antic sexual stuff. Said she had rough sex with Colin Farrell, just insanity. And Justin Timberlake, apparently and when they were together, she got pregnant with their baby, but they end up aborting it. So I don't know the reason why for that, but I'm sure the story's in there as well. I remember one time Justin Timberlake threatened, because they had a bad breakup, I think. Justin Timberlake threatened a whole bunch of secrets about Britney and some sort of memoir he was going to do, but I don't think it ever came to fruition. So we'll see what happens. Ridley Scott has seen the new Alien movie that's due out, I think, sometime next year, and he calls it fucking great. So that's his quote. So that's why I didn't bleep it out. Good for that. That's good. Goldfish Elf maple syrup grams from Goldfish Cracker Company. It's due out for the holidays, as is Pepperidge Farms' holiday nog cookies as well, are due out for this holiday season as well. Disney has a missing Halloween movie that a lot of people don't remember, and it's disappeared off of the radar, and I don't remember hearing about it ever, I don't think, but a movie called The Scarecrow of Romney Marsh, which is such a great name, and it's part of the Dr. Sin anthology or something like that. It was some sort of movie that was like a bit more of a horror bent to it, but it's Disney horror, so it wasn't quite as intense of a horror movie as you expect, but still it's out there and never doesn't get re-released or mentioned again. That'd be kind of a neat one to come around to again and re-release it around this time. It's just as great. The Scarecrow of Romney Marsh, and I love Scarecrow type movies and stories and stuff like that. So I want to discover that, see if I can find that. That's pretty cool. A Domino's Pizza is starting this new thing. I saw an ad for it. It's like pinpoint delivery. So basically what you do is you go on the Domino's Pizza app, and they have like a GPS map on there. And if you're at the beach, or you're at, you're someplace on the road, or you're at a park or a stadium or something like that, and you want a Domino's Pizza, you just pinpoint where you are, and they will deliver it to you. So even if you're at the beach, even if you're in the middle of a field in the middle of nowhere, they will deliver it to you. So I mentioned this because when I saw this story I'm about to tell you, it seemed kind of odd, but then I saw an ad for this pinpoint delivery service. So I think this is part of that. In Japan, a Domino Pizza delivery person climbed 6 hours to deliver a pizza to hikers on Mount Fuji. So my assumption is that they use this pinpoint app to say, hey, we're right here on Mount Fuji. The Domino's Pizza driver's going to be like, are you effing kidding me? But he said, I got to do it. So he drove out there and climbed the six hours to deliver a pizza to the climbers. That's an insane story. And it's all true. And it also makes sense with this pinpoint delivery thing that's the reason why they do it. Because if it was, if someone called them and say, yeah, we're at the top of Mount Fuji, can you deliver pizza to us? I'd be like, no, click and hang up. But because they have this pinpoint thing now, it now makes sense why it happened. So, whole bunch of local news here. CFG Bank Arena, which was the former Baltimore Arena, which is a former civic center right in the middle of Baltimore City, and has always been sort of a shithole for a while there, and has got a refurbishment, is exceeding expectations. The Bruce Springsteen concert and the Barry Manilow concert, believe it or not, absolutely exceed expectations at this arena, and it's doing a bang-up business right now. The National Aquarium will be building a floating exhibit between the two piers that the aquarium appears on, so it'll actually be physically in the middle of the harbor, floating on the harbor, and they're working on that right now. That could be kind of interesting to check that out. And Bauer's Restaurant, I don't know where it's located, serves Thanksgiving dinner every day. So that's kind of cool. They do that. Speaking of Thanksgiving, I think I mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating. Costco is selling a Lego Thanksgiving centerpiece. So you can create this centerpiece from Lego and put it the centerpiece of your Thanksgiving dinner table. Some anniversaries this week. Practical Magic, the wonderful witch movie with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. Outstanding film. Absolutely love it. It's 25 years ago this week, I believe. The Carrie remake was released this week in 2013. And the Thing remake, I don't know which one. It was released recently also. It came out this week as well. October 21st was Back to the Future Day. That was the day where in Back to the Future 2, Marty and Doc and Jennifer went to the future, October 21st, 2015, when the movie came out in 1989. Coincidentally, the year that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were born. But it was Back to the Future Day. And The Prestige, the Christopher Nolan movie with Christian Bale and Wolverine. Hugh Jackman came out on that day 17 years ago, 2006, which is the same year my daughter was born. It took us a while, but my wife, daughter, and I, we finally finished the live-action One Piece. So we've watched the whole entire first season. And it started slow for me, but it absolutely became an absolutely wonderful, amazing, fantastic series. Netflix strikes again. It's the first live-action anime that's actually done pretty good. Enjoyed it immensely. Have high hopes now for Avatar: The Airbender when it comes out next year. So it was well worth it. If you have not checked it out, just bear through the first couple episodes, but once you get past it, it gets a whole lot better and is an outstanding show and well worth it. And that way you can watch live action, not have to watch the thousands of episodes of the anime itself. And speaking of Back to the Future Day, a broken down DeLorean was found in a barn with only 977 miles on it. So the jokes are being made that it's actually the time machine stripped down and they just had to make it disappear, but it's been discovered though. Chocolate chip cookie dough popcorn seasoning is the new popcorn seasoning for fans of the chocolate chip cookie dough. George Clooney is back this year with, he's not in the movie, but he's directing a movie called The Boys on the Boat, based on the bestseller about a Great Depression rowing team that no one expected to compete against the upper echelon Ivy League schools, but they did a hell of a job. And so they got invited to like the 1940s Olympics or something like that. And they kicked ass and won the gold, I believe. So this is just a movie about that. It's your typical nice looking trailer, and George Clooney is a really good director, so it's neat to see that. Oppenheimer comes to 4K and Blu-ray on November 21st, just in time for Thanksgiving. So that's really good as well. Wrestling legend Sting to retire in 2024. White chocolate toasty vanilla M&Ms is a new M&M flavor coming up here. The first of many cryptid stories today. A new Yeti sighting in Siberia is lighting the cryptozoology world on fire. And this week also was Sasquatch Awareness Day. October 20th is Sasquatch Awareness Day. It's the anniversary of the Patterson-Gimlin movie, which is still the best proof that Bigfoot exists. And we've had some recent Bigfoot sightings and film pop up recently over the last couple weeks. And now this new Yeti sighting. So this is one of the reasons why I'm naming this episode Cryptid Season, because we got these two stories. And there's a couple other coming up as well. Let me see if there's any on this page. If not, we'll wait till the next page. Yeah, we'll have to wait till the next page. Here's something that's kind of cryptic. The Pope's former exorcist claims that the devil lives in the Vatican. He's a 25-year veteran of the Vatican, being the Vatican exorcist for 25 years, and he claims that the devil lives in the Vatican. Not exactly sure how to take that, but okay. So you've heard of Sharknado. Get ready for Monsternado, which is the new NATO series about prehistoric monsters that are being, pulled from their past into tornadoes and dropped into present day. Typical B-movie sort of stuff going on. Director of Wormwood, Keith Roach Turner, will be directing a World War II shark thriller, not about the one ship that is mentioned in Jaws, where the boat sinks and all the sharks kill the people on board. Now, this is a different story. Fast and the Furious star Sung Kang to direct Initial D movie, which Initial D is, I think is a video game, and so it's going to be a video game sort of movie like that. Trick or Treat, which is a phenomenal anthology horror series that never really got a cinema release. I think it's going to be getting a cinema release this weekend coming up for the first time ever. A sequel is in development right now, which is good because when you do anthology stuff, it's always great. You can do whatever you want, and it's all connected by the little scarecrow boy. I forget his name. I had the shirt on last year. Now, the incels, when they heard they were doing a live-action Snow White film, and Rachel Ziegler, who I believe is Hispanic, was cast as Snow White, and Gal Gadot has been cast as the Evil Queen, which to me is absolutely perfect casting. Not because she's evil, but because she's got sort of that evil queen look that you see from the Snow White cartoon. So the incels have been screaming, Snow White isn't Mexican, she's white. This is going to be a disaster, blah, blah, blah. So it's been getting a lot of press from the incel because of the incels, and the press loves their GOP Trumper assholes for whatever reason, because it's big stories and it's big ratings, but they don't realize that if Trumper and his crew take over, they're the first things that are going to go are the newspapers and the news, or it's going to be turned into propaganda, which is going to destroy your cred as a reporter. Anyway, so incels are stupid anyway, and they're morons, and their Trumpers are stupid asshole fuck faces, whatever. But the interesting thing is, but Disney was sort of like, they were worried that this was going to cause some backlash, and it becomes a big, clickbait sort of story. This is a clickbait I wouldn't mind seeing. They've had some early viewings of the movie, get critics' looks and see what they need to change. And every single one of these viewings has been extraordinarily complimentary, saying the film is actually a whole hell of a lot better than people are expecting it to be. So F you to the incels. So we'll see what happens with that. But incels aren't always about evil human beings. Take Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt, first off, is set to play the first female detective in an Amazon film coming up here soon. But she's recently been called out this week when a comment she made back in 2012 has come back to haunt her, where it appears that she was fat shaming a waitress at an Applebee's restaurant. So people are trying to either cancel her or get her to apologize or whatever. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out. Jacob Ellerch and Zachary Quinto will be doing a serial killer movie that's set to come out in next year. Some local news: the Baltimore Orioles, despite having getting knocked out of the playoffs early, do have 3 Golden Glove nominees. Their first baseman Ryan Mountcastle, who's not going to win. Their all-star rookie sensation catcher Adley Rutschman, who may or may not, he's a 50-50 shot, and outfielder, I forget Hayes' first name, but Hayes, something Hayes, I forget his first name, who's probably going to win his Golden Glove, are the local news for that. Dunkin' Donuts is actually releasing a espresso martini, but not at Dunkin' because they don't sell alcohol. There is a bar in New York City, which Dunkin' is teamed up with to sell an espresso martini that's garnished with a munchkin, the little donut hole, for not a real munch, whatever. Some other local news: one of the reasons why the Ravens had such a game they had today was Terrell Suggs, their Pro Bowl potential Hall of Fame defensive men, got put into the Ring of Honor this week, or today, I should say. And the Maryland Science Center Planetarium will be showing a 28-minute movie all about the Webb telescope and all the pictures it has taken so far right now. So that'll be looking really kind of nice. Gen V, the spinoff of The Boys, has gotten a second season from Amazon. Rabbit Trap, Dev Patel to star in a horror film from Elijah Wood's production company. Due out probably again next year. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, the new Super Mario Brothers 3D video game is out this week, so that's a potential Christmas present for my son upstairs. Lego Alpine Lodge is now available for your holiday building. Saltburn trailer starring Barry Keoghan about the sinful aristocracy. Released this week. Didn't really watch it because I could care less. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cocoa Puffs, and Trix are all going to be new flavors of waffles coming out here soon. Jimmy Kimmel has declared that October 20th, which was Friday, is Dog Father's Day in honor of Snoop Dogg, whose birthday is that day. Steven Seagal, back when he thought he was the shit, once tried to throw out Hollywood royalty. Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau were rehearsing in a conference room or whatever for their role in Grumpy Old Men. They are Hollywood royalty. They are some of the best actors of their time. And in comes this punk-ass little bitch named Steven Seagal who thought he was the shit and tried to force them out of the conference room because he wanted to use it for his own ends. Didn't work very well for him because it's Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, you bitch. And where are you now? You're nothing. Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, though both passed away, are still Hollywood royalty, you asshole. Piece of shit. I mean, you're so bad that Saturday Night Live doesn't want you to come back ever to host Saturday Night Live. So you were such an asshole. Anniversaries, Next of Kin, Patrick Swayze, Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt, Liam Neeson film. Came out in 1989, the same year that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift were born. And also Back to the Future 2 came out. That's 34 years ago. Mallrats, Kevin Smith's second film, came out 28 years ago this week. And I think that's it. Yep, that's it for this page. Boom. Speaking of Kevin Smith, Clerks came out 29 years ago this week. Mulholland Drive came out 22 years ago this week. I Know What You Did Last Summer came out 26 years ago last week. The luscious Jennifer Love Hewitt and the luscious Sarah Michelle Gellar and the okay Freddie Prinze Jr. and the okay Ryan Phillippe. So those are the announcements on this page. Jay Olivier to direct an animated film called The White Tower, which is based in the Wheel of Time universe. So it'll be a talk about the creation of the White Tower, which is where the magic ladies go. Yankee Candle. I hate this about Yankee Candle. They're always like a month ahead of time. So they released all their Halloween stuff back in like September. And it only stays for about a month, and then their new stuff comes in. So October is the release of the beginning of their holiday stuff. So their Christmas stuff has already made its way in there, and I'm kind of disappointed in Yankee Candle. Christopher Smith to direct Spider Island horror movie, which must be awful for people who are arachnophobes. Apple TV and Skydown Animation have amicably split. They had a partnership going on, but they both decided that it's best to split. But it was amicable, which means that Apple TV will still release the pending movies that they've already had under their past partnership and will gladly partner with them in the future, just not officially under a partnership. So if they have a movie, they'll be one of the first people that Skybound says, hey, do you want to show this? And they'll be like, cool, whatever. We'll take a look at it. Excuse me. A city in South Carolina, South Carolina's second appearance in here, is not happy with a hacker who created the Harambe Memorial Bridge. For those who don't remember, Harambe, this is back in 2016. 2016 was one of the worst years for deaths when it came to celebrity stuff like that. Harambe was this gorilla that was euthanized after he was protecting himself or something like that at a zoo, but they were afraid that he was going to cause harm to people, so they decided to euthanize him instead of getting the person who went after Harambe in trouble. I think that's a story about that. It's been so long ago, but Harambe is still around, and it became a big story for whatever reason. It's weird during the 2016 era, so it's still going on, and I'm getting a little bit of a clickety-clacket here. So that's kind of funny. BioShock live action movie directed by Francis Lawrence, who did I Am Legend and also the Hunger Games movies, is set to make a film based on BioShock now that the Writers Guild strike is over. A new script has been written for it. Now they're just waiting on the SAG-AFTRA strike to finish up. That one's been going on now for 100 days. But Netflix is glad to wait for them, but they wanted to see the new script, and they got the new script, and they enjoyed it a lot. Lot number 249, Kit Harington to star in Mark Gatiss' Sir Arthur Conan Doyle adaptation. So very good on that. What is that? Something 23 trailer. Oh, Beacon 23. Beacon 23 trailer came out this week. That's Lena Headey's new science fiction thriller TV show coming out here soon. Continuing our Cryptid season storylines, a new Loch Ness Monster picture started making its way around this week as well. And a trail cam spotted a mysterious werewolf in Wisconsin. So things are going absolutely crazy with the cryptids here. I talked about a One Piece live action adaptation. The first shots of the Fire Nation from the live action Avatar series has popped up online, and it looks excellent. The Bike Riders film that I talked about a couple weeks ago has now been delayed indefinitely due to the SAG-AFTRA strike, so that will not be coming out anytime soon. There's one I already did. San Francisco Giants assistant coach Alyssa Knockin becomes the first woman to be in official consideration for a head coaching job in the major leagues, which is a shame that it took so long to get this far, but it's there now. Extinct fish, here's another sort of cryptid thing. Extinct fish, thought to be extinct since 2008, actually is alive and thriving. The white fish, the howling, Houling, in England has been discovered as thriving, even though they thought it went extinct back in 2008, but it's been thriving. On October 17th, 2023, in the fictional world, the finale of Endgame, which had the battle between all the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and all that versus Thanos and his crew, ending in the erasure of Thanos from the timeline and the death of Tony Stark, happened on October 17th, 2023, so it happened this week. Wolverine's 50th anniversary is supposed to pop up next year. So Marvel's going to be celebrating Wolverine all year long, obviously. And January will have a bunch of Wolverine-centric covers for all their comics. The Eileen trailer with the absolutely stunning, gorgeous, and luscious Anne Hathaway came out. This is a very Oscar-worthy potential film for Anne Hathaway. It's a psychological thriller noir, and I just gotta make sure it's better co-star, so I think it is. But the trailer came out this week. It's absolutely stunning. It's creepy, dramatic, and outstanding. Let's see, it's Thomasin McKenzie. There it is. Let's see, it is. So I think it is. All right, let's see. So movie she's been in. Eileen Last Night in Soho. Yeah, I was right. I knew it. The voice was so obvious. All right, so Thomasin McKenzie is the co-star in the movie with Anne Hathaway. Thomasin was in The Hobbit, Battle of Five Armies. Was in Old, M. Night Shyamalan movie. The Power of the Dog, the Oscar-nominated films with Benedict Cumberbatch. Last Night in Soho, directed by Edgar Wright, and was in Jojo Rabbit. So the minute I heard the voice in the trailer, I was like, that's the Jewish girl who was hiding in the walls in Jojo Rabbit, and it sure enough is. So that's even another bonus to go see this movie as well. Not just the amazing Anne Hathaway having what looks to be an absolutely amazing dramatic role, but to have Thomasin McKenzie pop up and go toe to toe with her on this. It looks like a really good movie, and I might have to consider taking a look at that down the line. Now, I haven't been the biggest fan of Tim Allen because he is a Trump or GOP asshole. And I didn't watch his first season of the Santa Clauses, even though I did like the Santa Claus movies that was on Disney Plus that came out last year, due to the fact that he had to throw his politics into it. There's a line from the opening episode that says, "Nobody says Merry Christmas anymore," which is a bunch of bullshit. And you can just suck it, Tim Allen, you piece of shit. But that being said, the trailer for the second season of the Santa Clauses, since it came out, the first season did really, really well. Disney picked up the second season. It's due out, I think, around Thanksgiving again. Actually, it might be early November. Actually, I think it's like next week, not next week, it's like November 5th or something like that. Or the 3rd. I think it's November 3rd is when it's due out. So it will be in about 2 weeks. First trailer for it came out this week, and I have to be completely honest. Despite what I think about him, I might have to watch it because the original first season and catch the second season, because this second season looks absolutely action-packed. Looks like more intense than your typical Santa Claus series. So, and to have it spread out during a TV show would actually be kind of good. So we'll take a look at that. I will look into that maybe this holiday season. But it looks good though, despite what Tim Allen comes out of his fucking mouth. Across the Spider-Verse, the wonderful animated sequel that has been a huge hit this year, will be finally hitting Netflix on Halloween, October 31st. So that's cool. I haven't seen it yet. My daughter's seen it twice. Absolutely loves it. Pepper X is now officially the world's hottest chili pepper, dethroning the Carolina Reaper. I don't understand how someone could want to eat something so hot that it destroys the flavor of everything else you're trying to eat. It doesn't make any sense to me. Scientists are considering melting the moon to make roads, not the whole moon itself, but instead of plowing it, because I guess maybe you can't just plow it to create roads like you do here on Earth due to gravity and stuff like that. They're going to have to try something different to actually create roads on the moon. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition as well. American Fiction trailer. I looked at it a little bit. Wasn't really jumping out at me, but I had to mention it because it does look like it's a big serious film coming up here soon. And the dubbed voice cast for Hayao Miyazaki's newest film, The Boy and the Heron, that's due out December 1st here in the United States. But the dubbed voice cast is stacked. You've got Christian Bale, you've got Dave Bautista, you got Gemma Chan, you got Willem Dafoe, you got Karen Fukuhara, you've got Mark Hamill, you got Robert Pattinson, you got Florence Pugh. So you've got a huge, awesome vocal cast. So that might be another one that I might want to check out here. This section has even more death than usual. Start with the biggest one. Burt Young, who played Paulie from the Rocky movies and was also Ronnie Dangerfield's bodyguard / chauffeur in Back to School, passed away at the age of 83. Stephen Emery, producer from Big Sweat Entertainment, died at the age of 46 this week. Bob Pretty, a Major League Baseball pitcher, died this week. Carla Bley, giant of free jazz, died at the age of 87 this week. Lara Parker, Dark Shadows Angelique, died this week as well. And Freddie Beagle, NBA star, passed away this week as well. All right, we're on our last page here, and we're just about an hour in, so it's going to be a shortish kind of episode. Dolly Parton, the lovely Dolly Parton, will be performing the halftime show of the Dallas Cowboys Washington Commanders Thanksgiving game, the 4:00 game. So she'll be performing the halftime show. So I'm not sure if they're going to show that on Fox, but I'll be down at my in-laws' house who are Washington fans, so we'll be watching that definitely. And I always like when Washington plays Dallas on Thanksgiving anyway, so it's really kind of cool. Hallmark has their newest I guess they've done a series of video game console ornaments, and their newest one this year is the Sega Dreamcast, and it has the Sega Dreamcast and its controller as the ornament. So that's kind of interesting. The Warner Brothers Ranch has been torn down to make room for offices. Has officially been deleted off the map. Campfire S'mores M&Ms is another M&M's flavor coming out this week. The 1993 live-action Super Mario Brothers film will be getting the 4K treatment in its 30th anniversary edition. Dead X-Men, a comic based on the Dead X-Men, is due out in January of this year. In the Hand of Dante is a new movie starring Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac, and Gerald Butler. It's a crime thriller about a guy who steals an original version of Dante's Inferno that the mafia wanted to sell for big bucks, and ends up going on a journey through hell himself, taking on the mafia and trying to get his happy ending with his girlfriend. I don't know what that says. Oh, the Eras concert movie is now the highest grossing concert film of all time. So good on that. I have no idea what that says. A former Raven, Calais Campbell, finally got his 100th sack of his career for the Atlanta Falcons, I believe. He celebrated by giving $100,000 to teachers, which is a good thing. He was always a good guy. Got a couple with the Ravens in his 3 years with us. Got hurt a lot, but wasn't able to push it through. Hot Cocoa Oreos will be coming back this season. Jason Isaacs will be playing Cary Grant in a biopic, and the behind-the-scenes pictures show that he is almost a dead ringer for him, which is absolutely great. Whooper is going to be the November Community Day, which is going to be early Community Day this year, November 5th. And it's also going to be the release of Paldean Whooper, which has not been out yet before, so that'll make the Community Day even better. I told you last week the Ravens beat the Titans in England 24-16. Early in the show, the Washington Commanders was also the other team I like to cheer for. They also won 24-16 against the Atlanta Falcons last week. Pokemon shoes. Should I wait on that one? I'm going to wait on that one. But I gave you a little bit of hint there. There were multiple fights in the NFL last week. At least last count about 3 or 4. There hasn't been that many in a while. Avengers Twilight was announced at New York Comic-Con. One of the last things they announced last week basically is what if there were no superpowers, or superpowers were taken away from all the superheroes, what would the superheroes do with their time now? So it's written by Chip Zdarsky, who's turned himself into a very good writer recently. Milt Black, NHL player, died this week. Just want to get that out of the way because there's nothing but announcements there. In our last Cryptid season, our last Cryptid season story today, X-ray of a mysterious winged creature may be proof that fairies exist. I don't quite buy it, but there's X-rays involved, so okay. Marvel's announced a very interesting crossover series coming up in spring of 2024 called Infinity Paws, Infinity Paws, where the Marvel pets are going to team up together to stop the Infinity Gauntlet. So that'll be interesting. I'm flummoxed by this, so we're not going to get that. Oh, well, that's not been very important. Okay, announcements or anniversaries before we get to the final story of the week. Fortnite Chapter 2, which was my favorite chapter, came out 4 years ago this week. Team America came out 19 years ago this week. Fight Club came out 24 years ago this week. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and First Blood, the original Rambo movie, both came out in 1982 this week. Candyman came out 31 years ago this week. Bride of Chucky came out 25 years ago this week. So the final story for this week is Pokemon shoes that actually fight. I guess this is only in Japan, but there are a number of Pokemon-style shoes that actually fight. Like the first one they showed was Gengar. So it's a Gengar shoe that lights up, but then when you press down on it, a whiff of poison smoke, or not poison, not real poison, but smoke comes out because it's a poison type. Then there was Charizard shoe where you can actually light it on fire and fire can shoot out of your shoe. Yes, real fire. Mewtwo showed up with all kinds of flashy lights and stuff like that. Bulbasaur shoe came out with shooting water. Pikachu shoe actually shoots out electric sparks. And then the one giant rock type, I forget its name, but has a rock covering that comes off of your shoe. It's quite interesting, actually. Don't know how safe it is, but it's still kind of interesting. So that's it for today. Kind of a weird sort of Sunday-esque sort of thing. It's 7:09, so it means all the football games are probably over by now. Let's see. Let's get the final scores here for the football games, particularly my boy Travis Kelcie. Yep, the Kansas City Chiefs up 31-17 over the Chargers. Still got 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. And Kelcie had 179 yards and 1 touchdown. So he showed off for his girl today. That's pretty good. The Broncos and the Packers are tight one, 19-17. Oh, God damn it. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Rams 24-17. Which makes them a game behind us as well. Crap, that sucks. That's shitty. God damn it. That sucks ass. Oh, well. So what can you do, right? Broncos lead 19-17 over the Packers with about 3 minutes left in that game also. Anything else? Seahawks beat the Cardinals 20-10. The Ravens go to play the Cardinals next week in Arizona. And the remaining game tonight is the Dolphins-Eagles, which could be a good game. And then tomorrow night's game is 49ers versus the Vikings. And that will be it for week 7 of the NFL. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Next week's show, as I said, will be weekend before Halloween. Probably be some horror stuff in there. We'll probably talk about some of the trailers that are supposedly supposed to make their debuts this upcoming week. Talk about the shop on Fortnite, about possibly getting those skins. I'm definitely going to buy at least both of them. And anything else that pops up this week, we will discuss in episode 524. Again, I will be by myself. My family going away again, which actually I don't mind, and it'll give me a chance to just go balls to the wall crazy with Halloween stuff. So I guess that's it. I don't need to eat dinner tonight because we already ate dinner, and now I'm just going to go upstairs and I don't know, maybe I'll play some Fortnite or goof around or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. So thanks for watching. Next week comes Halloween, 9 days away.